What's up, everyone? So it's Saturday right now, and today kind of got some exciting news. Gonna work on the Corolla and get it prepped a little bit for the track. So I'm taking it to a track day tomorrow. It's gonna be an IAS event, which is held at Houston Police Academy. Unfortunately, John's car can't make it because he has refused to work on it. It basically just needs an exhaust. But for today though, for today's video, I'm gonna show you guys what I do typically for prepping my car for the track. Luckily, I don't have to go get any tires mounted today. I have some tires that are kind of like scrubs almost, and then I have one good set of like sticky tires. For what I'm doing, my car doesn't go through tires very much. I go through about half a tire in the rear, an event almost, or maybe like 3/4. And I have some left over, so worst case, I'm just gonna take my spares that I have and I'll just kind of rotate if some go out. At least that way it'll give me a reason to go get rid of these instead of leaving them with like 20-30% life on them. I can at least get a little bit more money's value out of it. But anyway, today I'm gonna show you guys what I do basically for a track prep. It's just a simple nut and bolt oil change, which I need to change the oil because my oil is pretty black right now. And just checking the fluids. I'll show you guys like loading the car up. John's gonna come help me with that later. Typically I can load the car by myself, but since I adjusted my suspension, I don't know if it's gonna bottom out on my trailer. I was having issues whenever I first got my trailer that around where my exhaust came out, like where my header ended, around there where almost like the bell housing for the transmission, it was almost bottoming out on my trailer. And I had like a 1mm to 2mm gap. Since I adjusted some of my suspension as well as I lowered the engine a little bit, I want to take a double look at it and have John at least watch from the side to make sure I'm not just going to plow straight into my trailer and destroy the bottom side of my car. Hopefully it goes on pretty easily. Then besides that, it's just load up the car, and then tomorrow will be the travel day to the drift event. It's only 2 hours from me, or from us. So that won't be too bad, but it'll be like travel, and then we'll do the whole drift event and everything like that. I think John may be coming. It's kind of iffy up in the air if his baby's in a good mood or not. Hopefully so, because I'd love for him to come out. And so if he ends up coming, he'll end up helping filming some things as well while I'm out there. I don't know what all I'm gonna be doing, if I'm gonna be led on the track or not, or if I'm just gonna stay on the skid pad. It really just depends on what they kind of judge for my skill level. I have driven this track twice before. It was for both years that I took my car to 8.6 Matsuri. I did grip 1 year, and then last year I drifted it and I did some grip on it. I'm not amazing at drifting. I can connect a couple corners, but I still kind of spin out here and there. So I'm still in the learning phase, so bear with me, especially in tomorrow's video whenever y'all see all that. Or for the next video after this, whenever y'all see all that, if I am spinning out a lot, I'm still learning. This is gonna be my 3rd event that I've ever gone and drifted at as well, so there's that. I'm catching on pretty quickly, but it takes time. So without ado, let's get started on it. Cool, so I managed to get the skid plate off, and time to drain my oil. I'm praying that it's not gonna overfill my container, solely because since I do have an external oil filter. Since I have an external oil filter that just feeds up to right there, I'm really praying that all the excess oil that's in these lines that go to the block, I'm hoping that it's not too much for the little pan that I have, but we'll see. If not, if it's too much, at least it'll make a funny joke. So the oil's draining. Luckily, I don't have to worry about it overfilling. It's basically almost empty now at this point. So my oil is really dark, so it's a good thing I changed it out. Also, it's a good thing I changed it out because my oil has it smells very, like, it has a lot of gasoline in it, it smells like, which I'm gonna run into that issue with this car, with running carbs and it flooding every now and again. So that will be an issue, so I'll just have to remember to change my oil a little bit more often. But it looks dark. There's no metal flakes or anything that I've seen. It's not shiny. I obviously don't have a blown head gasket, so that's definitely a good sign. So my oil's good. I am gonna take a look here in a second. I remember buying a magnetic drain plug from JSP. I don't know where I put it because I bought that thing so long ago because I was gonna change my oil a long time ago and I never did. So I'm gonna take a quick like 5-minute glance around and maybe I put it in my car or something over here. I'm gonna see if I have it. If I don't, I'm just gonna put the other drain plug back in. It doesn't look like I have any issues with metal flakes or any kind of metallic material in my oil, so I think I'll be okay if I don't have it either way. It's just kind of a nice safety precaution. But I did forget to get an oil filter, so that's just me being dumb. So good thing Napa opened at 8 o'clock and it's probably like 8:45ish right now, almost 9 o'clock. So while that's draining, I'm gonna make a trip to Napa real quick, go pick up an oil filter, and once I have the oil filter, then I can take that one off and I can start refilling the car up with oil. So I was able to find the magnetic drain plug from JSP. So I'm gonna slap this guy back in a little bit, but beforehand, I need to take off my oil filter because there's some numbers on the side of it, but I just wanna make sure I'm getting everything before I go to Napa. That way I'm not showing up and they're confused. So I already took my gloves off not thinking about this. So I'm gonna try a trick that I've seen of basically putting a bag around your oil filter like this, like a Ziploc bag or whatever you have that's a bag. I'm basically pulling it up to the top of the filter. Sorry, I'm struggling here, guys. Basically putting it all the way to the top of the filter and then taking your filter off. Ooh, doing this one-handed sucks. Okay, give me 1 second to break this loose. Okay, so I got it broken loose. Turns out I was an idiot. I was turning it the wrong way. So, get this bad boy to focus. Basically, you're just going to keep that bag around it, and as you're spinning your filter off, any kind of oil that comes out should just go in the bag. There we go. It doesn't look like I have any oil draining, thankfully. I'm gonna go ahead and pull this guy out. So luckily, I didn't have to worry about anything spilling. Typically, a lot of people do this with like, if you still have it on the side, but I have the relocation kit where it goes right there. This is also a giant oil filter for this car. This is a, I believe like a 12 valve diesel engine, like a Cummins engine oil filter that I got from Robert. He said he runs it on his and it works great, so I ran it on mine. And it's the same thing with my oil. The oil that I use it's the same thing with my oil that I use. So I use Rotella. I just use the 1540. It's diesel engine oil. Robert said that he's always had good luck with it for older engines. It's thicker, so it helps out. It's thicker, so it helps out with like bearings and everything that's just kind of old that hasn't been replaced. It's also just a good engine protectant, especially for older engines. He's ran it on his cars and he's never had an issue with oil. I've been running it on this car and I haven't had any issues with oil, so I'm just gonna stick with it. If it's something that's actually bad for the car, oh well. So I'm gonna run the Napa now, go get the oil filter, and then as soon as I get back, we can slap that back on, put oil in the engine, and then we can start the nut and bolt check. What's up, everyone? So I'm back from the store. I went and I grabbed lunch as well while I was already there, and so I got the oil filter, and so I had to go with a gold filter instead of a platinum like this one is. They didn't have the platinum like I wanted, but to find out, the only difference is the gold is basically good for synthetic or normal oil, while the platinum is supposedly only good for synthetic. I don't really understand why they would do that, but Either way, I got the oil filter, so I'm gonna go ahead and put some oil in there, and I'm gonna top off the engine, get it fully done, and then I'm gonna do a quick nut and bolt check. I'm just gonna kind of zoom through that. I'm not really gonna film it just because it's me just crawling underneath the car, and it's gonna be kind of hard to get angles of me just trying to go from bolt to bolt for mostly suspension stuff. Okay, so the nut and bolt check is done now. I went ahead and I put the oil filter on. I filled it up to like the top basically, and then put a little oil around the ring so that way it can seal properly. And now I'm going to go ahead and add in all the oil. I am going to do it slowly, that way I can figure out how much oil technically goes in here. Since it's a stroker engine, it's a little bit different, and I had to take my original 4AG dipstick and I had to cut a notch in it for what's actually full. I basically had to use the, because the tubing for the 7 AFE wouldn't fit, it didn't line up properly, so I had to use the 4A one, but the dipsticks are different. So I had to cut a notch in it to, that way I know exactly where it is. Also, I'm realizing now, did not put my skid plate back on before I lowered the car down, so I'm gonna have to jack the car back up to put that guy on in a little bit. But I'm gonna go ahead and get the oil in the car, that way that's done.
Somebody please help me, take me from this pool. It seems I've walked into, cause apparently your parents don't mind it.
All right, everyone, we're gonna have a, you and me both are gonna have a look at John's new helmet. So go ahead, John. Holy shit. Okay, that's actually kind of, oh, here, turn it the other way. That way it's not like blown out. That's actually not too bad. It's a little cringe, but it's not terrible. And it has a visor, dude. Alright, let's go.
Well, the camera's about to die, so I'm filming on my phone. But Hunter's exhaust got stuck, so we're lobbing this hanger off, praying for the best.
It's not great. It pulled my whole header off of the rest of the exhaust, so I'm gonna do this. The joys of having a not really lowered, but lowered car. So.
easy that was.
I mean, it still hit, but... Hey, can you do me a favor? What's up, everyone? I know it's been a bit of a time jump. The camera battery died and John filmed some for me, but I don't know what all he filmed. So, the car is officially loaded onto the trailer. I think John took a video of some stuff, but basically my mid pipe that I made, since I don't have a cat on the car, was catching on the trailer, and it basically ripped off, and I had to go back and I had to grind off some areas of it and then put it back on my header, and then I was able to get the car back up on the trailer. My car's not super low, as you can see. It's not very low, but getting it on this dovetail trailer, which I just bought, is still a pain in the ass. So don't put your car low, kids. But got the truck all hooked up. It's ready to go for tomorrow. Car's loaded. Got my ramps, some boards to help me get up on the trailer because we had to start using those. Some tires, spare oil, some water, or distilled water, some jacks. The distilled water is for in case like my radiator blows or something and I need to do that, or drinking water. And a gas tank, basically. So the typical tools I take to a track day are a socket set. This is my dad's old set, so it's just easier because it's already all put together. Zip ties are a must. Those are my lug nuts and key adapters to change over my wheels. My watts have a specific, the silver adapter, while the other ones have this one. And these are my other lug nuts, so I can put on those wheels. Take my impact with me. So I'm having to use RV leveler ramps just to get the ass end of the car up, or the truck up, so that way it kicks the bottom of the dovetail down a little bit, just so the car can get on a little bit easier. I'm bringing my toe plates with me, just in case I need it, or in case somebody else needs it, you never know. I'm bringing like an old, like 2000s like fucking air pump. It still works though, surprisingly. I'm taking a Phillips head screwdriver. I don't know if I'm really gonna need it. I needed to change out my license plate on the trailer, which that's the old one, so I have this guy. Crescent wrench, some pliers, some dikes, needle nose, some wrenches. So that's basically it. That's about all I take to a track day. There's not really much else that you really need to take with you. At least that's, in my opinion, that's about all you need to take with you. I know some people will disagree and say that you need to bring extra. Sorry, my neighbor's dog is here. Y'all can see Sadie. What you doing, Sadie? Sadie. Yeah. And basically say that no, that you got to bring a lot more tools. Ooh, one thing I did forget, I'm gonna grab. Did not mean that. I'm gonna bring a breaker bar. I'm gonna bring the breaker bar just so I can double check my lug nuts and make sure that they're good after I use my impact on them. That's basically it. Like I was saying, some people may disagree and say that you need to bring a lot more things to a track day. Not really. And I say that because worst case, if something random or freak happens and I need a tool that I don't have, one, you could leave the track and go get it. Or typically somebody has something there, because you're always going to forget something. Unless you have a full pack out that you never touch and it's always there no matter what, all the tools are there, nothing gets moved around, you're going to forget something. So, but that's basically it for this video. I'm going to go get all my stuff packed inside. I'm going to put the camera battery on the charger. I'm going to charge my GoPro. I'm going to try to get some GoPro footage for y'all tomorrow while driving. John's supposed to be there, so maybe y'all get some in-car footage as well of like him with this camera, or maybe it'll just be my GoPro. Like I said, I don't know exactly where I'm going to be. I don't know if they're going to keep me on the little skid pad or if they're going to put me on the track, if they allow me to go on the track, maybe later in the day. But either way, I'm going to go have fun. I'm going to learn. And John will be there as well to help video, and he'll be having fun as well. So I hope y'all look forward to the video. Like, comment, subscribe. Let me know what y'all want to see next, or anything y'all want to change in the videos or to make it more interesting. And I'll see y'all guys in the next one. Bye.
When you come over tonight, don't tell me you love me.